3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, hello. This is Ignacy and Portal Games.
And this is the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacore. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 232, and we're recording it on April 13th, 2022. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network, and Tom Vassell cannot handle the greatness that is the Podfather. Tom Vassell is not at the Gathering of Friends this week, but of course, the Podfather is here. Ignacy, where are you? You should be here.
I'm at work. But I'm surprised. Tom and Z, the whole gang was there always. I remember playing with them Detective in 2018, and we had a great time. Some particular reason, or just?
I think it's too busy. I think he just basically, Tom always feels that if he's not there in studio, at the headquarters, then he doesn't get enough videos recorded.
Okay,
he's a very busy guy. I mean, I really respect the amount of content that he himself puts out, not only the staff.
That is true. He
puts out so much of his own content. And then, of course, that's to kind of manage the whole situation. He's got people that help manage everything. But so he decided that him and Z, because they would kind of come together as a team, right? When they come here, that they were not going to come this year, which is sad.
What can we say? We can say that, they just missed the chance to play the first in America demo of Batman, because Daniel is there with the very, very early copy of Batman. So the Podfather may play some Batman game, they will not.
I really hope that Daniela is going to show me the Batman. That would be a lot of fun. She doesn't arrive till tomorrow, so I have not, right? I don't think. So I haven't seen her yet, but I really look forward to seeing her. I've met her in the past at Gen Con. Awesome, lovely person. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And who knows, maybe Daniela and I'll get a chance to record while we're here together. In the meantime, Ignacy, what's happening there at the grind, as we call it? You're at the old grind, grinding it out. What are you doing in Portal Games?
Portal Games Digital. Portal Games Digital have released something new. Every couple of weeks, a new army for Neuroshima Hex is released, and this one is called Smart. It is the army that we released in the tabletop version many years ago, and now it is in the app. As always, I explain, it is free for all of you to download who already had the previous edition of the army of the Neuroshima Hex app. If you are the new owner of the Neuroshima Hex app, you need to buy this new army. It's absolutely amazing, so check it out. It's called Smart. I don't know why. Back then we didn't know English very well.
Yeah, you didn't know English, so you says, let's pick a word. Oh, it's smart.
But I appreciate the fact that our Portal Games Digital, exactly with this update, they improved the AI of the app. So now the app plays smart, and I can make language jokes, which is awesome. So Neuroshima Hex Army Smart and the improved AI. Go to your App Store or Google Play Store and download the app. It's very, very good. As for the brag of the week, I don't have anything prepared today, but I will have something for the next week. So I will be bragging the next week. As for the pre-orders and street days, on the other hand, I have a very, very good news. Just before the recording, just a few minutes ago, we sent out the press release. The Gutenberg will be released on June 9th. So very, very soon. I remind all our listeners, you can go to our website, portalgamesus.com. You can pre-order the game and get the free shipping, get the additional small expansion, and get it before the street date. Exactly the same case as we were always doing, 2 or 3 weeks before the street date, it will be at your home. So Gutenberg on pre-order for the few last days. And Gutenberg, also Daniel will have with her at the Gathering of Friends, so maybe Stephen will have a chance to play it as well. A beautiful game about the printing press, about you printing books. A great theme, beautiful production, and releasing very, very soon.
And I saw people actually playing it here. Maybe they were playing a different edition of it. So I don't know if it's yours, but somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they said, oh, this is Gutenberg. I said, I know all about it, but I have not played.
So the case, this is perfect. This is very nice news. So this is, just to remind everyone, the game was released at Essen last year, English edition. It was sold out in 2 days, And then we reached the publisher, and we are now bringing the Portal Games edition. So probably this is the
Ta-da.
SN copy. Probably this is some SN copy.
Definitely.
At Gathering of Friends, there are these geeks who have these gems and amazing copies. So probably somebody brought it as a gem. So I appreciate that a lot. And my other street date is May 19th, the Batman.
Nice.
Big event for all of us, for all of you who love Batman, who love DC Comics. 4 cases, you are going to be investigators. You are playing a Catwoman or Vicky Vale and other characters and interacting with all these villains. Not all, but some of them will show up. So Batman and Gutenberg, our new releases very soon. And what's happening at the HQ? We released another issue of Moloch Monthly. This is a monthly magazine about the board game. So check out, it's free to download, about 50 pages of articles, board game quiz, some interviews, some news. I had it open, I closed it, but I can open once again to quote myself, because I'm editing the news section and I'm adding so much flavor to this news when I write them for the magazine. And I have quote for myself, and the quote is, for those who listen to Board Games Insider podcast and know the inside joke about the Gamma, we have a tremendous piece of news. The Gamma Manufacturers Association recently began their 2022 board elections to fill the remaining 6 director positions. Very important news. So I make a lot of small jokes in the news section. So if you want to some Slavic news variant, Moloch Monthly is your place to go.
Excellent.
And that's all. Basically, a lot of work, a lot of small tasks and big tasks, and days pass one by another, and weeks pass, and I can finally confirm that we were spotting before. Ignacy is coming to US. You will meet me at the Dice Tower Con. You will meet me at the Gen Con. Fun times.
That is going to be some fun times. I can't wait to see you again, my friend, face to face. But in contrast to all that work that you're doing there, of course, I'm just doing lots and lots of gaming and fun things. So as I mentioned, I am here at the Gathering of Friends, which very quickly, to remind people, this is a invitation-only event. So Alan Moon, the great designer of Ticket to Ride and other games, he invites his friends and, people can nominate people to be invited as well. So it's become a bigger event, like 450 people-ish that come every year to this. And it has almost become an industry event because, well, he invites somebody who's probably somebody who's a friend of his, and they are in the industry, and they invite an industry person, and we do end up doing a lot of business here. I have done so much business here over the years. Of course, now I just simply have a good time, have great meals with people, great drinks, and game a lot. And games that I've played here, I'm not going to go. I'll put some of the more interesting ones toward the bottom, but I went some go-tos like Lost Cities and Scout. I keep playing lots of Scout. Villagers, Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. I didn't like that one as much. A little frustrating, that one. It's a dungeon crawl. It's a roll and write dungeon crawl thing. Seven Wonders Architects, Crypt, Belrati. Very interesting game. A little Deckscape game I played. And then the ones I really played and really had a good time with, some of them new, some of them not new. The Grizzled. I played that 3 or more times here and got lost every time. I have not yet to win that game. That's how bad we are at that game.
Neither me. But
it's really interesting to try to do it. It's also depressing with the World War I trench warfare, but very interesting. Played Cosmic Encounter for the first time in many years and pulled out a victory with Zev, because in that game multiple people can win together. Zev and I won Cosmic Encounter. Lisbon Tram 28 by my friends over at Mesa Board Games, Mibo Games in Portugal. Pick up and deliver, very light, really just nice, gentle family weight pick up and deliver. Texas Showdown, it's a trick taking, but where you don't want to take tricks and you've got to try to fool people to take tricks. Sidereal Confluence. Have you played this game?
From our friend Zev from Whiskey Games. I saw it in action. I haven't have a chance to play it, but I was at the table and other players were playing. So it's like a trading in real time, correct?
It's Yeah, it has a trading like pit, where you're simply trying to trade resources to each other. In this case, in pit, you're trading cards to make sets. Here, you're trading resources sort of to make sets of white cubes or yellow cubes to then run it through your engine to produce more things and stuff like that, and increase your tech tree. There is a lot going on in this game. I mean, it's really good, but I mean, to explore this game deeply, I mean, you really need to play it a lot. So I had a really good time, and I played with Zev and the designer, Tausetti Dykman, very nice guy, and my friend Rod Phelps. We played with about 9 people, eight people. It's a big game we played, and it was very interesting. It's just not it's, when you say it's like pit on steroids, it's on pit like on LSD. It's like crazy amount of stuff that you got to kind of manage to make it all work. So I did like it, but it's much bigger than one would think at first. And then the really like 2 things that stood out for me, I think, on this show was Furnace from Arcane Wonders. And I had not played that. That came out at like Gen Con, and I had bought Picture Perfect there, and I thought that was fantastic, and I played a bunch of times. I had not played Furnace. You could call Furnace engine building the board game, meaning you're drafting cards and getting resources to build an engine, but you literally rebuild your engine every turn. So you get another card or 2, and you take those cards and you play them in any order you want. You put them in front of you, and you just try to get your inputs from one to create outputs to then go into your next engine, and it just chains together. I really, really liked it, and it plays really fast. It's like a 30-minute game, maybe a little longer. Excuse me, with a few more people. Liked it. Check out Furnace. And then the last thing was so surprising. It's a party game called Phantom Inc. Have you heard of this one?
This is the first game on this list. Second game on the list I never heard, so I'm super curious.
Phantom Inc. is a game where 2 people, it's 2 teams, first of all, and on one person on each team is a ghost, Phantom. And everybody else on the team are mediums, right? They're trying to figure out what the ghost is saying to you. So the 2 ghosts on each team pick a word from a deck. So they pick a card. They say, we're going to use this word on the card. Let's just say the word is castle. That came up yesterday. Now, we as the mediums, we have like 7 cards that have questions on them. So we give our ghost 2 cards, and the ghost looks at the 2 questions, picks one, turns the other one over. That's not going to be played. Picks one. Only we know. The other team doesn't know what that question is, and they start to answer the question for you, 1 letter at a time, so that the other team gets to see the letters and maybe tries to figure out what that word is, but we know the question. So to give an example, it would be like if it was castle, and we said, and we, because we don't know the word, and we gave the thing, and it was like, where's the closest location for this thing? And the ghost starts writing E, N, G, and maybe, since we know the word, we say, oh, England. All right. So, but we wouldn't say that out loud. We'd say Silenzio. You have to talk in Italian for some reason. Silenzio. So now we have a little more information on what that word is. And they're getting information from their clues, but we can all see each other's words as they come out on the paper really slow. It's so interesting. I absolutely love this as a party game, and you can play like almost up to any number of people on 2 different teams. So check out Phantom Inc. Highly, highly recommended. Gathering's only half over, so I'm going to play another who knows how many more new games to me. So that should be really interesting. What else is going on? I got some bad news. I'm sorry. The remodeling project completed.
Oh my
all
God!
Of
Seriously?
it. All of it. The only thing we're on the punch list now, where there's got to touch up this, touch up that. Got a little bit of electrical work and a little more of smart lighting to put in. What were you going to say?
Do you remember when it all started? So we know
A year ago.
how many months?
A year. Oh, well, but we added a second and a third project to the whole thing. So it's our fault, as much as anything else. But yeah, so we're adding some more smart lighting. I mean, we some of these things like, you say like, Alexa, I'm up, and as you wake up in the morning, and she turns on the lights in various locations that you want. Alexa, turn on game room, and the game room lights show up. Alexa, turn on movie lighting. So we're doing a few more of those things, but really, thank God, these people are out of my house now, who I like, but I don't want them around anymore. All right, finally, the trips. We were on the Dice Tower cruise and Dice Tower West. We went to those. We just got back from the Wonder of the Seas cruise, the newest and largest ship in the world. That was so much fun. Paula and I went on that cruise alone. It's the first time we ever took a cruise, just the two of us. It's always with a big group of something, either friends or gamers. Now, of course, here at the gathering, I haven't mentioned this, but in 2 weeks, we're going to be in 3 weeks. We're going to be in Hawaii. So really excited about that. Sorry, Ignacy. Again, no work here. Just having fun. Aren't you happy for me?
So
Thank
happy.
You. All right, enough stuff here. Let's get over to the event deck. So Ignacy, you put a bunch of things in here. We didn't have a lot of news, and I saw you put some things in here about Gamefound. What's this first thing? Gamefound is now open for all creators, I hear. Did you know this was happening? Did you have a bit of an inside with Marcin?
To be honest, I didn't realize that at the beginning the beta variant was only for invitation. Like you could not start a project on Gamefound without being confirmed by them. And now they're like a Kickstarter. Anyone can start a project on a Gamefound. We may wonder why this beta version was closed for everyone. I guess they were just checking if everything is working. This is like a big operation, lots of money involved, so they want to be very, very cautious about that. I guess they also needed some success story for the project, so they were picking the projects that they thought, I believe, will be successful, and then they were able to build these press releases about how much money was gathered, how many successful companies were founded at the Gamefound. So it looks like it was a well executed first phase of the growth of the Gamefound, and now they are in the second phase, which is okay. Now everyone can start using Gamefound. For sure, we can say that comparing our today knowledge and I mean all the geeks about the Gamefound and the knowledge Geeks had 1 year ago, it is now so much more popular platform. So many people heard about the Gamefound. It is not like some niche website. Today, it is like a smaller but competitor of the Kickstarter, and so many of you already heard about this page. So I believe that we can say that the first phase was successful. They spread the word about the platform, and now they're inviting everyone to be there. So we will see what will happen and how many projects will be on the Gamefound in upcoming months.
It still looks like, and I didn't know this part when I heard it was open now to everybody. I thought it meant literally everybody. What if I have a technology project or a movie I want to make? It's not. Doesn't seem like they're opening it like Kickstarter to anyone. It still has to be a board game, card game, a
Correct.
tabletop game, a miniatures, protective sleeves game, furniture, and other tabletop gadgets. And of course, you have to be compliant with the terms of service. That's interesting, though. So it's slightly limited, but not really. So that's kind of cool that we'll see more and more people, I guess, on there now.
Yep.
Very neat. So you also put up here about the Geeks are on fire. Fantasy authors record-breaking Kickstarter campaign closes at $41.7 million. And if people didn't know about this, they probably were not following what was going on. This was reported all over mainstream media. Brandon Sanderson, who's like everybody's favorite fantasy author, because the guy writes more books than anybody, and we all wish George R.R. Martin would learn to write like Brandon Sanderson. Guy writes like 20 books a year, and people love his stuff. So his Kickstarter campaign topped almost $42 million, by far the biggest Kickstarter campaign of all time. And those that back the campaign will get access to 4 new novels as either digital, ebooks, audiobooks, or physical copies in 2023. People who spent over a certain threshold will also receive 8 monthly subscription boxes of items related to Sanderson's work. It's amazing. I mean, people just threw money at this guy with, and I don't mean that in a bad way. They threw money to make this guy continue doing great stuff that he's already been doing. So very proud of that. And we are mainstream, folks. Again, this is a geeky thing, not a game thing, but seeing that a fantasy author, and that's what he does, right? He writes fantasy, is getting so much great publicity is really good. More of this, the better.
Absolutely.
So here's a new one that I just picked up from overnight, and that's that Asmodee is launching a new label. Launching the Unbox Now board game label. The label features its best-selling board games. Asmodee launched Unbox Now, a new board game label into U.S. retail. Unbox Now is a new board game label aimed at helping friends and family choose the right board game to play together. The Unbox Now label will feature 11 best-selling Asmodee games, and games under its label have won 140 awards at least. Unbox Now also introduces a loyalty program that rewards players with additional free content and online features like instructions, infographics, and rulebooks. With thousands of products to choose from, it can be overwhelming for consumers who are new to board games to know just which game is right for them, said Andre Kiernan, head of Asmodee US distribution. With Unbox Now, the question is an easy one to answer. You know that when you choose an Unbox Now board game, it will be the best in the industry, easy to learn and play, and enjoyable for all ages. So you might want to ask, well, which ones are in this grouping of 11 games? Well,
they mentioned the best one, so Robinson Crusoe, I guess.
You could probably guess most of these. Robinson Crusoe is not an Asmodee game, but Catan, Rivals for Catan, interesting. Okay, Pandemic, Ticket to Ride Europe, Seven Wonders Duel, Carcassonne, Splendor, Dixit, and Azul. So those are the 11 games that are now, I guess, and it's funny, label. It's so they're not changing the studio that runs it, not changing the brand, right? They call them imprints. It's still going to say like Days of Wonder on the side of a box or Catan Studios. So they're going to put a little extra label, logo that says Unbox Now on the boxes. Ignacy, do you remember we talked about that they launched a website a while back called unboxnow.com, I think it was called. I'm going to actually go look it up as I talk. And nobody really understood what they were doing with it. And now I guess we know what happened. They turned it into to this.
They are merging it, as you can see here, they are merging it with the free access to digital version on Board Game Arena. So we know why last year they bought Board Game Arena.
Right.
It makes perfect sense right now. And the contest for all our listeners is now, do you, our listeners, remember who was the publisher of these games before the growth of Asmodee?
Who owned these IPs first?
Yes, Catan from Cosmos, Pandemic from Z-Man Games, Ticket to Ride from Days of Wonder, the Seven Wonders, I guess, Space Cowboys, it was.
Yeah.
Carcassonne, Hansen Glick, Dixie Libelund, Azul, Plan
Wow.
B.
You're good at this. You got them all. Very, very good.
So
pretty good stuff. I mean, that's just really, really interesting. Again, Asmodee has the deep pockets. They can think in big terms. They can group the games together in certain ways. I'd like to say that maybe they took, a cue from Stephen Bonacore and Stronghold Games. When I created my Great Designers line, I had the same little, name on all those games. I don't know. No, I'm only kidding. Obviously not the case, but I like this idea. This idea is going to bring more notoriety to a given set of games that are family weight and easily for people to pick up. Good stuff.
Yeah, and just to give you guys the perspective, today in the office we were browsing and checking the Asmodee new catalog, It has 153 pages. So they have a ton of games in the offer. This catalog is absolutely crazy with all the games, and now they want to put more light on these bestsellers, and then they hope if people will play this 7 of games, they will then browse the rest of this 153 pages catalog.
Exactly. So here's a new one that you just dropped this in here just now. I think it's Gamefound and Ravensburger release a game together. Wow, that's interesting. I did not know about this. Why don't you tell us about this?
So one of the most famous games from Stefan Feld, Castles of Burgundy, released by Ravensburger under the Alia label many years ago. And now it is announced it is going to be on a Gamefound for the crowdfunding in an exclusive, super amazing, beautiful version. And on the box that is presented as a visualization of the upcoming project, you can see a logo of Alia, Ravensburger, and Awaken Realms. So not only Ravensburger invested in the Gamefound, not only is supporting the platform, but now the big news is they are releasing the game together.
Wow. Very interesting. I'm looking at the pictures of what they're doing here, and it looks amazing.
It doesn't look like a Stefan Feld game, right?
It certainly does not. But I'm seeing like the castles are like gorgeous models. I hope they end up looking like this. So this is not launched yet. It's in preview now. I don't think they gave us a date.
It's just announcement. Yes.
Did they give us a date? I don't think they did, because this is going to be
no. They want us. Yep. They want us for us to debate about this for half the year, and then they will start the campaign.
No doubt. And I mean, this is one of those campaigns they're going to do like, many millions of dollars, because Castles of Burgundy is a tremendously big game to begin with. And now if it's going to be brought out with this huge, production on Gamefound, that's going to be really big. So look forward to seeing what happens there. In the meantime, let's get over to strategy and tactics. All right, in strategy and tactics today, we have some questions. Conan Daly, he's at Hexheart, and he asks, highly theoretical question here. I know you are both very fond of strong themes in the games you design and published. Yes, we are. And I was wondering what you would go for if you were constrained significantly on theme. If you, for some reason, had to design, assuming Steven designed a game, which I don't, a game that had to be themed with one of the old school Euro game themes, something like colonization, railways, farming in Europe, trading in the Mediterranean, what one would you choose? So if you for some reason had to design a game that had one of those themes, what one would you choose? I'm not sure. Does he mean which one would I have liked to have designed? Which one of the themes, I guess, appeal to us? Yeah, I think that's where he's going with. So which of these themes, one of the old school themes, are some of your favorites?
Trading is awesome. Farming is awesome. I could design a super awesome game about running your own village, your own little country region, and doing all this farming, building the mills and other stuff. So easily for the railways, I love to play these Steam games, but I don't see that I can bring any more value to this genre. Like it is already so huge with these rail games. And for the colonization, absolutely, Imperial Settlers is a little civilization game, and for the bigger colonization, for the civilization, absolutely. So yes, I like these themes, and although I'm slowly being done with designing, maybe I could do something like that as well.
Yeah, I like all the old themes. So farming maybe a little less. I'm a fan of pick up and deliver. So I think trading games are great, and railway games. I mean, some of my favorite memories of playing like some of the all the like the older rail games, and then even like the newer ones. I mean, that's just kind of a thing I like. So that's probably where I would go. And then he has an add-on question. Some more recent games are putting a twist on these old themes to give them a more nuanced or modern take on old context, like Spirit Island flipping the colonization Naren John company, showing the casual evils of the East India Company. Okay. What twist would you like to put on the theme you choose in the first part of the question to make it more interesting to you? What do you think? So if you took one of those older themes, what spin would you do, Ignacy?
I guess with the farming, I would do like a little kingdom, like not just have sheep, have some cows, but I would do like a little game with a little kingdom that you have to manage. You have your villagers that have some problems. You have some weather destroying some stuff. Like I would do like a small real life simulation. It would be super cool. So easily you can take these some themes and add a life to it, some stories, and they become vivid and amazing.
Maybe a more modern version of like Merchant of Venus, because I love space themes, of course. So that probably would work. So we do do something where you're trading in space, so to speak, and where there's maybe even bring in like pirates and stuff like Orion pirates, like who are stealing. They're trading, but they're also stealing from people and stuff like that. So all that kind of stuff. That would be an interesting way of going with that. Thanks, Conan, for that. Marco Dobronic. I think I know Marco, or I know he's posted with us. He's at Matto78. Does board gaming industry try to have less impact on the environment? We've talked about this quite a bit, to use local resources as much as possible, recycle materials. Do you guys have solar on your roof, drive an electric car maybe? Marco, my next car, I did not buy an electric car this time. My next car will be electric. That is the trend, of course. So when the second car in the family goes, I'm definitely going to be going electric. And as far as, we've talked about who can have the biggest impact. We can all try to have impact, but at the moment, the smaller companies are not going to be able to move the needle substantially on the materials we put in. You just need certain materials in board gaming, and you need plastic materials very often, or else we can't do what the gamers are asking us to do.
I had discussion about this today. Seriously, today my team was working on the plastic insert for Robinson Crusoe, and I made this joke, not this question, that on one hand fans ask us to be eco and care for the planet, and then on the Kickstarters and Gamefounds you all want the dedicated plastic insert. So like on one hand you ask us to be eco, on the other hand you ask us to bring you these amazing plastic inserts. Like I could live without this insert. It is for you. We do it for you because you request so. You need to have the one opinion. Either you want to be eco or not.
Exactly. So Bill Anderson's going also back to the well of Bill Anderson. He's Nix603. He said both Steve and Ignacy often say that while other companies share their numbers, neither of us do. And Stephen, prior to his retiring, why do you feel it's important to keep print run numbers confidential, and how could they provide a competitive advantage? Aren't print runs for games in standard sizes, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000? Taking the second part first, the answer is the print run size can be literally whatever you want. Some of the companies that you deal with, will give you the overrun. You have to pay for them, or it might be an underrun. Say you ordered 3,000 and 3,200 got produced. They make you pay for the 32, or make you only get the 2,800. That's one way. Or they will literally give you the exact number. Like when I ordered from China, Survive, I would always order, I can't remember the number right now because it's out of my head, but I would always order like 7,846 units, because that's what fit into a container. That's what I would order. One full container load. So Bill, we don't talk about the bigger picture numbers, and we don't talk about initial print run sizes because they may be ones and dones, and we don't. It's just it's not necessarily competitive advantage. It's just internal proprietary knowledge of the company, and I will talk to my competitors about them when they ask privately. So we just don't put out that information because you don't need to do so. And in general terms, we certainly talk about what a big game is or a smaller game. Ignacy, any other color you want to add to that?
I would not add, because I will give a ton of examples how I can use data that I get from other publisher, and what advantage it gives me to have a data. So just like a general statement, data is good for doing a war. Like basically, if you have a data, you have some advantage. So obviously, we are in a friendly competition market. We know each other very well. Sometimes we gossip and talk about stuff, but basically knowing print runs, knowing sales numbers, knowing data about other competitor, it gives me then the advantage that I know my numbers and I know his numbers. So I can already analyze, compare, take some conclusions. So yeah.
Bruce Brown, he's at Bruce Brown. He says, you often talk about how awards, with the exception of the Spiel des Jahres, usually have little impact on sales. As many awards are run and marketed in different ways, in your opinion, how would you design an award experience that would make an impact on sales? If I only had, the ability to impact the world, Bruce, I would. And bonus question is, what award categories do you think should be awards but aren't yet? Very hard questions, Bruce. Ignacy, if you had the ability, and you didn't have to work 80 hours a week on your company, is there a way that you would create a new award that might impact the entire industry that's not the Spiel des Jahres, a new award, anything?
I would not try to create a new award. That is for sure. And the aim for existing awards is to make retailers and make distributors understand that this is the best tool to sell more, that is to grow their business. They need to understand and educate themselves that if the game won an award, it means this is a good game, so they can, with the confidence, suggest it to the customer and have a happy customer, because apparently this game is good and the customer will get back to the store and buy again. So I would spend all my resources to education of all the tiers of the sales.
Literally, I never thought about this. It's a tough question. One could theoretically, because the Spiel des Jahres is at least partly generated or it's centered around the German board game market, right?
Correct.
At least part. You have to have a German edition to be considered, right? So it's centered around it. So theoretically, one could center one around the English-speaking market, and theoretically, one could partner with maybe the largest of the organizations, and I'm not even going to pick Gamma because they've got their own problems, right? But let's go with, why don't we partner with like Gen Con, right? The biggest convention, right, in the world, not quite, at least in North America, right up there, and somehow get, organizations and publishers and everybody to buy in, and then people can get nominated. There would be a lot of work around it, but I think that maybe if you partnered with the biggest and you funded it through this kind of thing, because there's a lot of money that has to get funded through this whole thing as well to get the games out to people. A lot of work, but I probably would do it through a Gen Con, but it has to remain independent. I think that one of the things that Spiel des Jahres does well is keep it all on the up and up, so to speak, right? That there's no controversies like, well, they got paid off or something. None of that kind of stuff. You don't feel that way. You feel that it's a solid award, that they really do their job to create that award. And every person I've ever met on the jury has always been very honest kind of people. Tough question, Bruce. Thank you. What award categories do you think we should have? I don't know if there's any new award categories that I could think of, because somebody does a category for everything and various things. So, Bruce, I think I can't answer that one. Ignacy, I don't think you can either.
I agree with what they are doing in Germany. The basic award for the new customer, the expert award for the us geeks, and the kids award for the kids. 3 categories. That's all we need.
And you've mentioned that in the past. 3 categories. Excellent. All right. Robert Childers, he says, he's at our Childer. What is your opinion on the current state of the friendly local game store? seems like more and more companies are cutting out the middleman and trying to reach consumers directly, whether it be through their own online retail shop, subscription models for regular release expansion content, crowdsourcing. Also, how important do you think it is for the success of friendly local games to provide a gaming space for the public to play games? All right, I'll take it first. First of all, providing game spaces is huge. If you're not providing a service, if you just have a retail store, why do people want to go in there? It's like, yeah, I mean, everyone's ordering stuff online. Provide a welcoming space for people to be there, to create the community, and then they want to purchase from you. I think that that's such an important concept. As far as like, yeah, selling direct, it's a hard market right now, and people have to understand it's just very, very hard to get noticed. So as we sell some stuff direct, those alpha gamers who even know who's selling these games then talk to the next people and talk to the next people. They bring it to the local game store, who then go buy it from the local game store. So all of these things feed each other. So we can't think of it. I say you shouldn't think of it as that cutting out the middleman. Sure, we are going to make a little more money by doing certain things, but what we're trying to do is to ensure that we have survival by getting a little more slice of this profit and getting games out to those alpha gamers who then can feed and fuel the hype within the system itself. Ignacy, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I agree. And just to give the perspective, the number of copies publishers sell directly is super small compared to the whole print sound. Like this is like a just drop of the water. So this one. And here in Poland, I must confirm, yes, there is a lots of local game stores in the past 2 years who were closed because of the COVID, because of the space, because so many of customers began to buy online. It is so much easier to just sitting at home on your iPhone and just order the stuff and you have it at your door next day. So more and more sales are done by online, and as Steven said, more and more stores are slowly turning into the either coffee shops, either gaming clubs with some subscription. And here in Poland we have now a ton of new coffee shops, restaurants that offer board games, and some of the board game shops were closed in the past month. So market is changing, that's for sure. And there's one of the reasons is what was doing last year and 2 years ago with the COVID, when everything was shut down and you guys learned how to buy online.
Very, very good. Ignacy, we got to get over to playtesting.
Okay.
Ignacy, last week was your question.
And I'm surprised with the answers.
You probably should read the question, though, Ignacy. I'm kind of pointing at you. Can you see me pointing at you?
I don't, because I was looking at the other monitor. The question was, what is the Kickstarter you missed and regret so much when people started getting it delivered and showing on your social media feed? And 2 surprises. First surprise, we had a ton of answers. So that was the question that many of you got involved with the topic. And the other surprise, like a half of the questions, or maybe even more than half of the answers, was that you don't care, you don't back, you don't like Kickstarter, etc., etc. So lots of people who are against crowdfunding were summoned to this thread and were vocal. As always, I picked a couple of answers from you guys. Mike Madman W, he said the BattleTech Kickstarter. I'm still trying to get the miniatures I missed out on, and the BattleTech is one of the games that was released here in Poland when I was a kid, and I couldn't afford it. And so it was like 30 years ago, and I still don't have this game. So I missed the Polish release of the BattleTech 30 years ago. So I'm with Mike. I miss my BattleTech in my collection as well. Although I didn't know about the Kickstarter. Maybe if I knew about the Kickstarter, I would back it, because now I can afford the game. And then there is Kurt von Highveld. And I agree with him because he said, I've got this feeling each time with a too many bones Kickstarter delivery. Always want to back it, but finances make me not to do it. And this is the case that indeed these poker chips this game has, the whole boxes, it looks so amazing. And every couple of months I see this on the internet and I say to myself, why I don't own this game yet? And then I forget about this. And then once again, they are shipping the new expansion or new version and I'm missing it again and again. and there's so much negativity in these answers that I cannot read them because I'm from Slavic regions and I'm against negativity.
There's a lot of negativity about Kickstarter in this thread. It's very interesting. Did you get your three? Or do I go?
Yes, you go. Yep.
Okay. My favorite answer here is a quasi negative one. It's from Walter Stupkin, and he says, "None I regret not backing, but some I regret backing." So there's a lot of games that he regrets backing, but none that he didn't get. And then two of them that are kind of near and dear to us. Jeremiah Brahmer, he's Terraforming Mars Big Box. I won't ever get it though because I have so much fan-made content and some 3D printed tiles for it. So he went and he already got all of the stuff that kind of was in there because he went out to like Etsy and things like that, I guess, which is kind of cool. And I think maybe for you, Ignacy, one of the best ones here is I wish I had got in on the recent Robinson Crusoe Fancy Edition. I also want the Grand Austria Hotel Deluxe Edition, but don't recall if that was a crowdfunding project or not. So somebody here is looking for Robinson Crusoe Fancy. Hopefully that'll be available maybe a little bit in distribution afterwards.
There will be some copies, but not much. Like we know this is an exclusive product, and so we will have some copies, but it is not like a big print run. Right. That's for sure.
So Evan Halbert, you better search it out. It'll be there for you, but in very limited edition. All right. So for the next week, for my question from next week, I'm asking everybody, when you first joined the hobby, whatever that means to you, when you first got in and really started getting in, buying lots of games or knowing about lots of games, did you use the BGG Top 100 to influence the games you bought? And do you still, now that you're, of course, a alpha gamer, because, you listen to us, do you still use the BGG Top 100 or so to influence your board game purchases? Ignacy?
Many years ago when I started, the site to go, the important site in the internet was Bruno's Fight Duty blog. I don't know if you remember.
No.
He was running a blog with the reviews, and there was a ton of reviews. He was reviewing them in French and in English, and it was called Ideal Game Library, I think, something like that. He was mentioning that he's building a library of the best games that he is recommending. There was only positive reviews, and it was like a library from the Bruno Fight Duty. And I bought a ton of games from these recommendations. And what I learned, sometimes we have different taste with Bruno. And this is obviously true for all reviewers and all of us. We all like different games. So sometimes I was very happy with my purchase from the recommendation of Bruno. Sometimes I was super surprised that he recommended that game. But being serious, years 2006, 2007, it is Bruno's Fight Duty blog that is super influential here in Europe. And then BGG explodes. And then I learned about the games from BGG. And I remember the big thing when Agricola made it to the top as a best game on the planet. And then I was paying attention to the Board Game Geek.
So for me, little known fact, when I started going bananas and buying an unbelievable amount of games, I went out and I purchased, not like all at one shot, of course, every game in the BGG Top 100.
Okay.
and then because I'm crazy, I expanded that and I said, I have to own everything in the BGG Top 150. And I did. I owned everything. It was either me or a friend of mine, Chad. I always mention Chad. But he didn't own, basically, he would own like most of any of the war games that were in there. And I would own everything else. So I literally just kept going out and buying it. But of course, as we all know, that thing changes a lot. So something drops out, something comes in, I have to go buy that. Something drops out. I literally, for several years, I had it in my head that I'm going to own all those games. And I did. And I still do for most of them. Some of them I've said, like, I really will A, never play this, and B, it's just not my style of game. And I don't want this thing. So I've gotten rid of some of them. But I own quite a bit of them, at least back in the day, the ones that were back in the day. And I do not anymore, zero, keep up with that. Now it's all about, like, okay, I hear about a game. I hear it's perfect for my style. I go out and buy it, even if I don't know it. Spur of the moment purchases as conventions and things like that. Or I played it. I'm like, oh my God, I have to have it. Like Phantom Inc., for instance, and Furnace, those two games, 100% going to put those games in my collection because they're that good. I played them here, love them, probably going to be more. So I would love for all of you out there to now answer this question, which Ignacy is right now. I see him. I see his face. I see him looking there. He is going to the guild and he's going to create the thread for our question to you about when you join the hobby and do you still use the BGG Top 100 to influence the games purchased? Please go to our guild on Board Game Geek, find our playtesting thread for the question and post your answer to it so we know how you feel. In the meantime, let's get to the final scoring, which my voice is about to give out here. So I'm very happy that we're at the end. Final scoring. Thank you so much for listening. Help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts, or now watch us on the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. To ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, you must post them in the correct thread in our guild on Board Game Geek. And to answer our question to you from our playtesting segment, also go to our guild on Board Game Geek and look for the thread with this episode's question. Board Games Insider has a Facebook page, so please like us on Facebook. Also on Facebook, please like Ignacy's page and Steven's page, which is at Portal Games US and at Podfather Gaming, or / I apologize, on Facebook. Our websites are portalgamesus.com and podfathergaming.com. Please go there and sign up for our newsletters to get up-to-the-minute information on what's happening at Portal Games and with the Podfather. On social media, you can speak directly to Ignacy and Steven. On Twitter, it's at Portal Games US and at Podfather Gaming. Same on Instagram. And on YouTube, the channel names are Portal Games Movies, Portal Games Gameplays, and the Podfather of Gaming. Ignacy's on TikTok, Portal Games US. We hope to see you.
I have an anecdote.
Oh, no. What has he got? I'm not even finished. What do you got?
I checked yesterday my TikTok, and for some reason, this stupid AI, Chinese AI, I checked the analytics, and it was showing my videos only to people in Poland, which is super stupid because it was Portal Games US and I was talking in English. But this stupid AI knows that I'm in Poland and it shows only to Poland. So all Polish geeks were surprised that Ignacy is speaking in English, and no fans in America ever saw my TikTok. So thank you, Chinese AI. You're amazing.
Oh my God. Can you change it now?
I have to figure it out because otherwise it makes no sense whatsoever.
Have Danielle post the stuff, right? Send it to her and she can post it from the US.
Yeah. This is like, I found that yesterday.
That is so dumb. I mean, like on Facebook, you can select your audience. Oh, wow. That's wild. Crazy. Sorry about that. Well, maybe you can't see Ignacy, but he's going to figure out how to make sure that you can see him. And we hope to see all of you at an upcoming convention soon in 2022. Board Games Insider was professionally edited by Matthew Jude from This Game is Broken podcast. And if you'd like him to edit your podcast, please contact him on Twitter or email at thisgameisbrokenpodcast@gmail.com. Also, that great voice you hear doing our intro, outro, and in-between segments is that of Ray Greenlee. He can be contacted to do voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Ignacy, I see that you're typing something in that special area.
You can now, because this is your mission, your thing.
You want? Oh, what, me? Okay, I think I mentioned this sort of already. Maybe
already.
Well, I said it.
So. No,
I said it at the top of the episode a little bit.
No, you didn't. It was before recording.
Oh, okay. I didn't. You're right. I said I would meet her.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, Stephen is hopefully going to do a special guest recording from the gathering of friends later this week. Do I say who?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope to have a recording with Danielle Standring, who is now Ignacy's main person in the US for social media, right?
Yep, for marketing. Yep.
And you'll find out all about Danielle and what she's done and what she's going to be doing. A really great person. So we hope to do that later this week. And then I'll drop it probably the week after, just so we can keep going. And, we've kind of apologized for, having a break there for a couple of weeks. It's just scheduling is just sometimes hard. Ignacy's a very busy guy. I'm traveling sometimes, and on a cruise ship, I can't record.
You are traveling sometimes. I would have a calendar with you. You're at home 1 day and 7 days traveling, 2 days at home and 7 days traveling.
Yes, but I can usually record when I travel. You can't, but not always. I can't always record. Anyway, so hopefully we're going to do that special recording this week, and then you guys will hear it the following week, which is going to be fun. So thank you all for listening. As always, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.